All right. Marcus Howard writes, what superhero or movie character would you want as your stepdad?
Oh, as my stepdad?
Good question.
Definitely not Batman.
No.
Making me work out all the time. You're too slow with your push-ups. Stop it. Who would be awesome to hang out with?
As your stepdad.
Yeah.
Stepdad, Superman. Superman, why? No one's ever going to mess with you. Ever. Like, never. Ever in any level of school are you in? Well, the argument, the eternal argument of my dad can take your dad, yeah, that's gone.
Right.
That thing's just out the window. Somebody giving you trouble at school, I'm going to bring my stepdad just for a minute. It's just done. I wouldn't want to hang out with him necessarily. But you can feel pretty safe and secure that your stepdad, who married your loving mother, apparently because he's your stepdad, you know she's in good hands, no problems, nothing's ever bad going to befall her.
See, here's the issue with Superman as your stepdad is that he can't bestow his powers and abilities onto you.
Right.
But if Tony Stark is your stepdad, you get all the billions of dollars that you would have had with Bruce Wayne without all those weird, I saw my parents get murdered when I was a kid demons. Plus, he can build you a tiny little Iron Man suit that you can fly around to. And then he's your stepdad. You don't want to necessarily hang out with him all that often. Sure, you go fishing with
and
Aquaman
he can
if he
help
was your
you
dad.
pick up chicks.
The iron suit is going to get you laid, kids. I promise it will.
And he has an alcoholic problem at some point in time where you can actually join him and be the demon in the bottle, younger version. Dad, look at me, I'm doing shots too, stepdad. I think Iron Man's the winner on that one. Yeah, you're a billionaire with all the weird problems that you want. The problems that you want to have, not the problems that you don't want to have.
Too much money, too many women, too many cool toys.
Yeah.
Mom, what's wrong with Tony today? He and Captain America had a meeting. It didn't go well.
Yeah, you're going to have to take the Lambo and go to the... Oh, okay. You know.
All right, what's next?
James Brown asks, speaking of Zoolander 2...
Hey!
Hey!
You don't know.
I got it. Speaking of Zoolander 2, are you surprised by the lack of marketing by the movie that comes out next month?
No, not really, because I think there's been a half decent amount of marketing this is going to be a relatively small comedy. Like, this isn't a $200 million film. I thought there's already been a half decent amount of marketing, but also remember, I think strategically, I think it was me and Christian were talking about this. I think strategically they wanted to hold off until more of the Star Wars momentum died down a bit.
Yeah.
And then they can, Star Wars now going to have its fourth week. Remember, John Wick didn't even release its first trailer until 1 month before the release. And then it came out and got a lot of us interested. I think you're going to probably see in the next 4 to 5 days Zoolander 2 pick up the marketing steam a little bit now, heading into the final month. But as of right now, I think it's been fine. Mark?
I saw a casting for some Zoolander promos, so I think that they're probably going to pick it up now. Yeah, they're like asking like, "Ooh, hot, sexy girl." So I'm sure you guys will see.
So you
some hot,
passed along
sexy
to
girls.
Mark.
Yeah, there you go, Mark.
Reply and sent my headshot in. I saw an ad on TV. I think it was during the Golden Globes yesterday for Zoolander 2. So you're starting to see more of those pop up, but it's got a really tough level of competition because if you're going up against Deadpool and the How to Be Single, which isn't a movie that necessarily appeals to me, but it's about 4 girls who I believe are single or they're in different phases of their lives. It's the perfectly made, probably made for Valentine's Day movie.
Yes.
So Zoolander 2 has a bit of an uphill battle.
Well, I think it's good counter programming. It's a comedy like Deadpool is a comedy, but it's not a superhero film like Deadpool. So I think it's going to do really well. And from that one trailer that they dropped, which was hilarious, all they have to do is drop one more trailer that is just equal to or as funnier than that one. And, that's a double feature weekend for me. That's Deadpool and Zoolander 2. I just don't know which one I want to see first, And
even in the TV spot, they did a very good job of showing us that, yes, it's Ben Stiller and Owen Wilson. They're back, but you also have Penelope Cruz. Will Ferrell is going to be back. And they showed some of those star cameos like the Justin Bieber thing that we saw in the trailer.
The Justin Bieber bit is really funny. And, you knew it was going to happen as soon as when Owen Wilson says, "Hey, throw me the knife." I knew he's going to throw it to him and it's going to stick in him. And it happened and I laughed my ass off anyway. So take that for what you will. All right, what's next?
You guys are going to like this one. Harry J.A. Killick writes, personally, I think Pixels is underrated. Why the hate? It's not great, but it's better than what people say. Oh, awkward.
Yeah.
Awkward.
It's so awesome that I just haven't brought myself to see it yet. I'm just waiting maybe until I'm 70 and have loose stool and I'm just like constantly on the toilet that I can't do anything but watch Pixels.
Hey, look, here's the thing. I say this all the time. All film's subjective, and if somebody out there That's the great thing about, that's not a great thing. That is the best thing about movies, is that no matter what it is, we all come to art, and that's what film is an art. We all come to art with different perspectives and different life experiences, and it impacts us in different ways. And that means there are going to be movies like Pixels that strike somebody in a good, positive way. And that's awesome. And I celebrate the fact that you saw Pixels and enjoyed it. To me, it was a steaming pile of shit. I mean, that's to me. But that doesn't diminish the fact that you had a good experience with it, and that's awesome. But if you're going to ask me the question, why do people trash talk on Pixels? It's because it's a horrible piece of garbage film. And it wasn't funny. It wasn't even the visual effects were bad. I mean, none of it made sense.
See why I haven't seen it yet?
Make me laugh.
I don't. When I'm hanging out with my pals and they tell me stuff like that, I'm like, it's not even on a list that I've like, oh, I can't wait to not see that. It's not even on that list. It's just not on a list.
I can't wait to
It
not
just
see that.
went away.
Gone.
Yeah,
But
and
I didn't even. What did you think of Pixels?
I thought it was such a miss. I didn't hate the movie, but it was the comedic opportunities that you had in there that they just didn't take advantage of, which is just a bummer to me. And like, Harry, think about it this way. Maybe you like Pixels more than I did, but I think we can both agree that it didn't reach its potential with when you're talking about bringing back classic Nintendo and computer animated game kind of movie, and you have all those characters in this, and they're attacking us, and it's aliens using that technology against us. It's such a great premise for action and for comedy, and it just didn't live up to what it could have been. That's the biggest bummer of the movie to me.
All right, let's take two more.
All right, Unlimited Power writes, when adjusted for inflation, Gone with the Wind is the highest grossing film at $3.44 billion. Will any film ever top this?
Well, but look, we've had this discussion before about adjusted for inflation. Yeah, but that only counts if you don't take into account the 100 other variables of socio and economic changes between the cultures of the time when that movie came out and now. You can't just reach in and pick out one variable that you want to say, hey, I have to make an adjustment to, and then make that the standard. There's 100 different variables you'd have to take into consideration if you really want to do that. And while it is not perfect, the current system of simply straight down the board, how much money did this movie make? That's the one you have to go with, because it kind of, like I said, it's not perfect, but it kind of balances out all those other variables like competition. What is the current, what is the average wage today? What is how much is competing for that entertainment
Was
dollar?
there television back then?
Yeah.
No.
Were there other movies in the theaters back then?
How many other films were coming out every single week against it? Like, you can't just say, I'm going to pick inflation as my one variable and make that. You can't do that. There's no one North Star when it comes to which variable it is, and that's why we just stick with going right down the middle. I don't know. How would you address that?
But the question is, on the table, will a movie ever make $3.44 billion? Do you think that could possibly ever happen? I mean, we see what a tough time Star Wars is going to have just crossing $2 billion, and that movie's a phenomenon. Like, Avatar is $2.8 million, so you still needed $600 million just to get to possibly that number. You needed $200 more million just to break $3 billion. So I don't know that you're going to see that for at least another 20 years until ticket prices get so out of control that we all stay home and watch it on our whatever device we have that can let us watch.
When you have to fill out a loan agreement at the ticket counter, that's that day. That's
right.
maybe, I think, not within the next 5 years. I think certainly not within the next 5 years.
Unless it comes with like head goggles, like virtual free VR egg that you get to wear, and you get to keep the egg. Then I might do it. I don't think anything's ever going to make $3 billion. It'll be some synthesis that we're not somewhere in the future in like 5-10 years where movies and television are like you watch it in some super omni screen that everybody gets because you have the egg or whatever. It's going to be something weird that we don't know about. But then all of us buy it for $10 globally. And that's kind of that's what I'm saying is it will be something that can be easily shared and that it can be easily done with like everyone's got their little chip now. What, the sign of the beast or whatever? I'm not saying like chips like that. I'm saying, it's like everyone has a credit card. It's like it makes it very easy, a transaction. People will just swipe it on Amazon and then all of a sudden 1 billion people watched it and they spent $10. That's $10 billion in one day. So it's like some kind of global screening type thing is the only way I could ever see $3 billion.
unless George Lucas loves Daddy's Home and he decides to see it 500 million times. He's
got the money to
Just
do it.
imagine George Lucas in the theater just laughing his ass off like he's De Niro in the back of the theater in Cape Fear. Just cannot get enough of Daddy's Home.
I want to see 1,000 George Lucases, like he cloned himself, so it's just him and his giant jiggling neck, like 1,000 of them all, like laughing.
He's got
at
a lot of
Daddy's
free
Home.
time.
I want to see that happen.
All right, last question of the day.
Right, Max Russell writes, could Daisy Ridley be a young Lara Croft in a Tomb Raider reboot?
Ooh.
You could say any name of any actress here. Could she be a young? Sure. I wouldn't put my money on it, but sure, it's a possibility.
Yes, she'd be great.
Yeah,
Or
why not?
She'd be great.
Yeah, she can pull
100
up
other
action.
actresses would also be great, but yes, she would be great.
No, it's Daisy Ridley, damn it. She's the only Lara Croft I'm going to see.
I agree
She's
with
got the natural accent for it.
Yeah, she would be a great Lara Croft. Why not?
All right,
Yeah.
that's it. The final judgment goes to Dennis. Dennis, yay or nay? Ridley as Daisy Ridley as Lara Croft. He says yay. So saith Dennis. So say we all.
$3 billion movie right
$3
there.
billion
$3 billion.
Daisy Ridley in the next Tomb Raider.
Hey guys, if you like this clip, click here to watch the entire episode. Also, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel because it'll help you stay up to date with all the stuff we've got going on here at Collider.